Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's JamBox. We're here. We're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. With that being said, here's a quick word from our sponsor. Buddha's Berry, a delicate and earthy green tea. With blends of Roma, Krishna, Vanda Tulsi, and blackberry leaf, it's a great way to start the day. The Brothers Apothecary. Fine teas and remedies. All right, thank you all so much for watching again. Shout out The Brothers Apothecary. Make sure to click the link below and go check them out. I guarantee you're going to like it. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
Hi, I'm Israel Adams.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
Yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about, where you're from, what you do, give us that Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. I am based in Portland, Oregon. I was born in New York. I was raised in Florida.
Oh, okay. So you're touching all the corners.
Yeah, man. We did a good little trip through the States. We were doing a lot of seasonal work, me and my friends, and eventually, found a home base here in Portland and have been making an array of different kinds of music, mainly alternative pop. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's pretty much the story right now.
Oh, yeah. And what got you into music initially? What was that kind of the jumping off point for you?
Yeah, it's that kind of classic musician story where you have that picture of you playing a guitar when you're 6 or with a microphone on karaoke. My mom was an established poet and my father was a musician for a good part of his life.
Okay. So it was just kind of around you already.
Yeah, it was around me all the time and just raised on decent music, I guess the golden era of the 60s, 70s, 80s.
Okay.
And yeah, just was always around, like you said, in the house. And I think when I started taking it seriously, I was in band in middle school, and I think somewhere along the lines in high school, I was I had a rhythm that I was okay, maybe I can do this one day, as a career or something like that, maybe pursue something. And after high school, I got closer with my best friend, Randy, who's off screen right now, but he's here, he's rocking with us. And yeah, we just started making a bunch of music together and just started developing more of a sound. And I think me personally, I finally got good at it after maybe 6 or 7 years of, grinding away at pretending to be other people, just through inspiration and finding something that we could call our own. So yeah, and now we're here.
Oh yeah. Okay, so real quick. Let's do that again.
Yeah.
Remember how I said in the beginning, let's focus on just the answer to the question?
Yep.
Because you just answered 3 other questions.
Word.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. So I'm not saying you have to go short format, but more in depth on just the focus point. So first moments with music.
Yeah. Okay.
Not you got to where you were starting to get solidified.
Yep.
You just that there's a progression to it.
For sure.
But I wanted to hear out kind of the whole answer so I could see how you're going to answer, and definitely I think you're going to have a lot of fun with this.
Yeah.
Okay. But let's go ahead. We're going to start just from you again. Mm-hmm. So go ahead, look straight at the camera, hold it for a second, and then hello in your name.
Okay. Hello, I'm Israel Adams.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about, where you're from, what you do, give us that Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
Yeah, well, I am originally from New York. I was born there and was raised in Florida. And then, now I have the home base here in Portland.
Oh, hell yeah. You kind of just got all over the country. Mm-hmm. How'd you make your way over to here?
I was doing some seasonal work with some friends and then ended up landing here after a few different states doing a few different jobs.
Oh man, that's wild.
Mm-hmm.
And did you do like, I guess we'll get into that in a little bit. Let's look a little bit earlier. Let's go back to the beginning. What got you into music to begin with?
Yeah, just my parents were, my dad was a musician and then my mom was a poet, so it just kind of came together.
Oh, hell yeah. So you're a second generation musician.
Mm-hmm.
And like, were you brought around a lot of live music as a kid and things like that?
Yeah, every now and then. It was more in the house, like, yeah, when they would play, you know, just whatever they were into.
Oh yeah, I could do that. And then for this next one, these are a couple of questions that we just asked early on because they're fun foundation ones. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
Oh man, Purple Rain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you did just start with quality music.
Yeah. I mean, like they played it in the house all the time, but like that was the first one I wanted.
What made you decide that if it was always around anyway?
I mean, like it's like anything. They can't take it if it's yours, you know. Like,
fair.
Yeah.
You just wanted to be able to experience whenever you wanted to.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So was that like one of your more early influences then?
Yeah, for sure. You can still hear it.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
Definitely listen to your music earlier. I could see a lot of it for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then what was one of the first live shows you ever went to that was like one you wanted to go to?
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Billy Joel. Yeah, my mom got me tickets to Billy Joel. That was a big one for me.
Hell yeah.
Because, like, you know, they get older. You're like, you don't know how long they're going to tour. I think he's still touring, but like.
I mean, nobody can tour forever.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so
exactly.
Definitely a good concert to see.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic.
How old were you at the time?
17, 18.
Okay.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so like old enough to understand it, but still,
for
like,
sure.
young
Yeah.
enough to be whimsical.
Yeah, we were like, I don't know. We didn't go to a bunch of concerts. We grew up in a small town. It wasn't like there was like a huge venue.
No, totally.
I mean? But yeah.
I mean, I grew up in the Bay Area and I didn't go to a bunch of concerts either.
Yeah.
I feel like the more infrequent they are, the more like special they seem to be at certain times. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't take them for granted because
yeah, exactly. You're not just like, oh, we're going again this weekend. But I mean, that's a phenomenal show to have seen.
Yeah, no, it was sick.
That must have been a really cool experience.
Yeah, I was the only one like standing and yelling in the bleachers. Everybody was not young, so
I mean, hey, that's all right. One of the first shows I ever went to was Ozfest in 2005.
Really?
Yeah, and actually I went to it up in Seattle because my dad wouldn't let me go down in the Bay Area, so my mom drove me from Vancouver to there.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was awesome.
It was sick.
Iron Maiden was one of the headliners, and I had been listening to them forever. It blew my mind. Like everybody else was phenomenal.
Right? Yeah.
Like, that was one of those moments where I was like, this is one of those moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it changed everything for me.
That's crazy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's enough about me. Let's get back to you. And we're going to round out the foundation questions here.
Sure.
But do you have a defining moment where you decided to take music more seriously or like started to like really lean into it?
Yeah, I fell asleep. I fell asleep while driving a car.
Oh no.
I crashed it. It was actually my friend Randy's car. Well, they sold it to me. Him and his family. He sold it. It was his car that he got from his family. And he was getting a new car. And we were planning to like move to California, I think, at one point before that. But that moment, I think, was like I had to rethink a lot of things. Yeah. It's one of those like near death things where you're like, oh man, what does this mean? What does life mean? Blah, blah, blah. And then you just look at things, and I knew that things became clear. So yeah, that moment.
Damn, that's wild.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
This is Kanye dropped Pablo. That was February 2016.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was a little while ago now. That was like right when I moved up here, by the way. Fun. Yeah, weird correlation.
Yeah.
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 Well, glad you're still here and making really cool music.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and let's dive into the current stuff now.
Yeah.
And get to know you a little more in the present day. But we're gonna knock out a super easy one. How'd you pick your name?
So that's funny. My parents gave me Israel because it was my father's favorite uncle's name. And then the Autumns came I grew up in Florida, and there's not really a turn of a season there. Like there's really like it's super hot forever,
Yep.
cold a little bit in February, but there's no sign of change during that stuff. And then we did one of those seasonal jobs in Alaska, and that was like the first time I'd really taken in autumn and fall and all that. And from there I was just like infatuated with that season, and and then it just locked in. Yeah.
No, I dig that.
Thank you.
Aesthetically, it's a really cool name too. Like it has just the right shape all the way around.
I appreciate it.
I don't know if that was intentional. I do this bit where I break down everybody's name, and that they're two easy words.
Yeah,
and they look good when they're written down.
Exactly.
Like I imagine a lot of fonts are really friendly to the word autumn in particular.
100%, because it is a pretty name. Like it's
got good letter shapes. Got
good cachet. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Now let's go ahead and let's talk about your writing process.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about a good chunk of it. But we're going to break it down into chunks.
Yeah.
And we're going to start right at the beginning. When you get inspired, you're ready to make music. What are some of the things you do to get a track started?
I guess it all depends on the track, and it depends on the moment. Like most of the time it is the music first. Cause at least for me, eventually, the music will lend the hand to the lyrics. Like you'll have a vibe or a feeling with whatever you're hearing, and then it's easier to just kind of get whatever, lyrical flow or just like, whatever is coming to your head, rhetoric wise or like verbiage wise, whatever. And so it usually starts with the music. But sometimes you have those sudden like things of inspiration where, we were in Idaho and I was laying on a couch, in the living room, and, as one does. And I just, heard the Civil Castle like synth in my head.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then laid it down. And sometimes those magical things happen where you make something like that happen. But most of the time it's just, for me, you start with the music and then it's a grueling process of, all right, we got to try to make a good song. So.
Yeah. And so do you play all the instruments in your music?
Most of the time, yeah.
I guess other than like, guest vocals and things like that.
For sure, yeah.
Other people, obviously, it's other people, obviously.
Yeah. Most of the time I'll play them, or I'll just bring in some friends that I know can probably play it better, Okay.
Yeah, no, it's definitely good to have a friend.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then after you get a track finished writing, so it doesn't have to be like out and produced and things like that, but once it's written, how long does it usually take for you to get comfortable performing it?
Oh, that's a good question. Almost immediately, if it's good.
Yeah.
If it's good, then we'll have songs that we'll think are done. We'll start performing them before they're even out, and then we'll add to them later. And then so there'll be like new verses that we're just throwing on. So immediately, if it's good, if it's not, or if not that it's not, if you're not as confident in it.
Yeah. If it's one you think you're going to be performing.
Right. Yeah. It's going to take time sometimes if it's something that just needs to be cradled a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And looking back on let's say the last year, we'll look at 2023.
Yeah.
In that window of time, did you have any like big changes in your progress or like process?
Yeah. I started working with my band more. Like I had all these songs that I had made over the last few years with my friends, and whether they were out or not, I knew that I wanted to perform them at a higher level.
Yeah.
So it was my first time really working consistently with a group of people that were or still are, they aren't dead yet. Like they are great players, and they are great people. And when you have that in a room with pretty good songs, you have a consistency. It's, it makes for a good product.
Yeah.
And so that's been new for me, of just like kind of shedding a little bit of my ego and sitting down with people who are willing to take something that I had as an idea to another level.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I dig that. And I think it's cool to talk about the vulnerability that comes with playing with a band when you don't start as a band per se, because that is it's like you have to let them into a space that you would created almost like intimately in, you know, your own moments.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when you write in a room, it always has a different energy when it's with a group of people versus when it's just you.
100%. It feels like undressing in front of people. Like you have to, it's nerve wracking. You know what I mean? Like it depends now. I mean, if you're confident, like with whatever you're working with, good on you. But like, if like, it's like when you're a kid in like a pool or whatever, like when you're like 6 or 7, and you're just nervous, maybe you don't know how to swim or something, like that feeling, but you just gotta like jump in the water.
No, totally. And I think if you already have an established sound and artists want to work with that, it's because they like it. So that kind of gets a little bit out of the way if they're like, oh, we're here because we already heard something.
Exactly.
That goes a long way. And I think that, you know, if it's people you trust, then it becomes fun. Then it becomes something you get to share with people who do it well. And that's really special. Plus, it's so cool being able to hear a song you've heard a million times be played a completely different way.
Yeah.
And just like get to lean into it differently.
For sure. I agree.
Oh, yeah. Now let's go ahead and let's talk about some of your actual music that's available to people.
Yeah.
And I mean, we'll call it the most recent one. I believe it was called Vanish.
Yeah.
With Phantom Pink. How did that track come about?
Brayton, Phantom Pink, I've always admired his songwriting, and I think we had followed each other on Instagram a couple years back, probably like a year and a half before Vanish had come out. And he came to actually my first show in Portland. That was really nice of him, and we just hit it off, and we were developing a friendship. We would play music every now and then. But for that session, we went in, we had a reference track for Vanish. We were like, we want to, like, we heard the song, forgetting the band's name, but the song's called French Press. It's a very good song. And we were like, we want to make something like this just because we love the song. And sometimes you just want to make something, you don't know if it's going to turn out good.
Yeah.
And his friend Nick was there, and shout out to Nick. We all had a pretty good hand in that song, and he was like, okay, these chords at this tempo, and then that Brayton started playing the guitar, and then I started playing the drums, and we started getting a shell of that one, and eventually, I think maybe that whole process was maybe like 2 weeks between like the first sessions and then it being mixed and mastered.
Oh, hell yeah.
And yeah, it was just immediately, it's one of those where he was kind of humming the lyrics. Like it was it's one of those fun moments where he was like, I remember that session, he was like, "It's coming, come around, come," and then I was like, "No, right there, that's it." And you immediately know, and then it's that's when you know it's really good. But yeah, that one was a blast. He's absolutely one of the best musicians I've seen come out of this city. I think he's in LA now though, but yeah, he's fantastic, and yeah, it was just made a good track. Oh
yeah, no, it was definitely a jam.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And then I want to dig into your EP a little bit, but before we get into that one, I want to talk about Carrot Juice.
Yeah.
Because that track kind of comes out of nowhere. Like I listened to pretty much everything that's available on Spotify. Yeah. And that was the one where I was like, huh.
Yeah.
Like it was cool to see you could do it.
Yeah.
Like it just like, because everything else I'd heard is like, it has those remnants of that, but like clearly a much more like musical and like almost falsetto-y presence in a lot of it. And like the beats were a little more intricate in some, but that one just like was tough.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration behind that one?
I had downloaded so probably Young Thug for sure.
Okay.
I downloaded the Wheezy 808 pack. Was that also made that song? Me and Randy made a lot of these songs in Idaho in those sessions. Carrot Juice was one of those, and I just wanted like one where I could talk some shit. And I'm always a fan of that package of things because like everything is right before that. Yeah, I like a balanced things, right, where you can live in that moment with everything, and then Carrot Juice is like that tough one, like you were saying.
Yeah.
So that one was we just wanted to make a hard hitter, and
you definitely nailed it.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Oh yeah. Now let's go ahead and let's talk about the EP. I believe it's called "If I Did It Today, when would you get the news?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And it was cool.
Thanks.
It was really cool. I mean, like, it starts off with the little poem bit.
Yeah,
and and you're just like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, anytime something opens up like that, I'm like, there's got to be a direction after this.
Yeah.
Like, there's something that's going to come after it. And it did. Like, unfortunately, I didn't put the names on here in order.
Oh, you're good.
But maybe I did. But Civil Case or Castle.
You're good. You're good.
We're doing this later than usual.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Civil Castle.
Yeah.
That track was rad.
Thank you.
Like, it had this really interesting space, this really interesting energy, and the music video that goes along with it is really cool. It had like the essence of I don't know if you know the song Heartbreaker by Mastercraft and John Legend.
I don't think so, no.
Go check out the music video.
Okay.
Like, they're not correlative in like specific style, but there's something about it.
There's a feeling there.
Like, there's a presence in it that I think you'll really appreciate that video. But yours was really cool. Just like the dynamic change between like day and night, the changes of settings, and like just it all felt like it was a bunch of one takes at once.
Yeah.
Somehow, but they felt really together. Well, I mean, what was the inspiration for the music video? I have to know.
Well, that starts with our head videographer, Alex. He is fantastic. And there was no real rhyme or reason. That was our first video together.
Oh, damn.
And that was our whole thing, was just like, there is no real inspiration. We were just trying to do something very random because the song feels unorthodox when it's put against anything else in my discography. And yeah,
I mean, Carrot Juice does as well.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. We have those conversations a lot because I have a song that's coming up that has a similar energy as those two, and I think at least speaking for me and my closer friends, like, those are our favorite pockets of mine, where it kind of gets a little dark and weird. But as far as the video, back to the question, I think the main inspiration again was really nothing. We were just trying to have fun. I had brought up the changing of the day and night thing to Alex, and he really liked it and he nailed it. Yeah. But it's really all hats off to him. I came with a bunch of silly stuff and he made it look cool.
The Kermit bit.
Yeah.
That definitely gets you.
Yeah.
Definitely gets you.
I had a terrible obsession. I still have a terrible obsession with Kermit.
I mean, there are worse things to be obsessed with.
That's true.
Like, he was pretty all right.
He's great.
Yeah.
I have a really soft spot for Kermit and the whole. I saw something where it's like somebody was like, I love how in life we've just accepted that the Muppets are these sentient beings that we have to pretend are real, life things.
Well, they were always real about things. I think that was like Sesame Street was the opposite. Sesame Street was only like, these are the things that are good.
Yes.
But the Muppets were constantly like,
exactly.
I guess.
Yep. It felt real.
Yeah, you felt like they were as you got older, you understood the characters differently.
Yes, exactly.
And so you never grew out of them, you just grew around them.
100%. Yeah. They talk about real, like, there's interviews of like Kermit like talking about sex and stuff like that. Like that's why he's like the shit.
Yeah, no, it was always a really interesting universe.
Yes, I agree.
Hell yeah. But getting back into this, is there anything else you would like to share about Civil Castle?
Just shout out to Darian Winters, who mixed and mastered it. Made it sound as cool as it was. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now, can we talk about Lego Star Wars?
Yeah.
Because that track was like a sneaky bop.
Yeah.
Like it's suddenly just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It was like everything.
Yeah.
And just please tell us about it.
So there's a good story with that. That thing was so difficult to
I could believe it.
Get done because
I could believe it.
We didn't have, so the producer on there, OLSC, is like their acronym, or just like their name. They're fantastic, and we got the beat, and I had just like did like a little reference hook, and I was like, yeah, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then I gave it to Randy. Randy's a fantastic songwriter. I was like, I got this like something of a hook. wrote like the majority of both the verses, and then I just added, where I could. And then it got difficult because the beat that we got, the stems were all over the place. So we had just recorded, I had recorded Randy's verses and the hook, and then Darren tried to mix it, he tried to master it, but it just wasn't coming out the way we wanted it. So we sent it over to New York. I forget where Fab is located. It was a engineer named Fab that did the mix down and master on it. Anyway, he's like New York or Montreal, I forget. Anyway, he finally got it to where it needed to be, and we were just grateful because we thought it was like going to be such a good idea that was just going to go to waste.
Yeah.
But thank you, because really Randy's responsible for a lot of what is tailored in that song was all Randy's idea. So he's the bop master behind that one. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, shout out to you, Randy. It's just super cool track.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. All right, but now that we've looked at some of your music that's out. Looking at more of your current stuff, so like stuff that you're working on, stuff that you're performing at the moment, what is your favorite song to perform?
Ooh, to perform? Man, I'm trying to think.
And like at the very least, what song has like one of those moments where you just have to lean into it every time?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Probably, I think when I'm doing it well, I think the highest point that I can get when I'm feeling the best about a song is when I'm performing everything, because I think it's the one song that I have right now where if I do it well, I've done it poorly a lot, but if I do it well, it shows that like, oh, like he can sing too.
Yeah. You're just like, when you're nailing that one, you're like, this is the range.
This is the range.
Yeah.
And yeah, when I can do that well, then that one, probably everything or the rocks, but everything is, when I do it well, I think it's the best one.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. For a moment when you said that, I thought you just meant that's just when I'm performing everything.
Everything.
It's all good.
All of it. Yeah.
Like it took me like one extra second to like attach the word to the name of the song and not just the word.
My bad. Yeah.
No, you're good. That was a fun one for me.
For sure.
And then looking at music you're working on at the moment. So like stuff that's not out yet. What are some, because obviously we don't want you to give any of it away.
No, for sure.
What are some of the like the characteristics, the attributes, like the descriptive words about it that are things that you like? Like what are some elements that you really enjoy?
I think it's I'm trying to think of like specific elements. I believe that anything we work on shares like the common like honesty thing that I really like. I don't know, anything we make shares that quality that obviously like it feels like oh yeah, like obviously it should feel honest, but like I don't know, I think a lot of people take that for granted. And
just to touch, you said you were writing with the band more now, correct? Are you writing with the band more? Not really. Well,
I write with a little bit with Kyle, our keyboardist / trumpeter. He actually helped produce 2 of the tracks on the album. Okay. So yes, that has been happening more, and I'm glad because they're fantastic. But I think the things I'm excited about for the next stuff in terms of like some of the elements of it, there's a lot of dark moments that I think are my favorite moments, because that's where I think the honesty thing comes out, because it's easy to put on a face or try to be happy for everybody.
Yeah.
And a lot of those moments that exist in what we were just talking about with Carrot Juice or Civil Castle rear their ugly head a lot on this project that's coming up. And those are my favorite things.
Yeah.
And I think I caught a pocket where for like a 4-track run at the beginning, it's just like a torment, it's just a mess.
Yeah.
In the best way possible. Like you have to, if you're gonna listen to it, you have to sit in it and be like, this is fucked up. This is fucked.
Damn.
Like it's really like tough. Like some of the lyrics are really tough to listen to, but they're really fun. You know what I mean? So I think it's to summarize all of that, it's like going into a dive bar with your best friends. You hate the dive bar. There's like smoke everywhere, but you're with your best friends, so you're having a good time, and you just want to smoke a cigarette, and you just want to have a drink, but you promised yourself you wouldn't smoke nicotine anymore, but then you find yourself smoking nicotine again. That's how the album sounds.
That was a very descriptive element.
Yeah.
I felt like I could track that pretty much entirely.
Yeah.
So, okay, definitely looking forward to that. That sounds like that's going to be a really interesting contrast compared to everything that's come out, but coincidentally things we touched on pretty directly. So that's really cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I guess segueing out of that, this is going to be an interesting answer that I'm excited for this. So the last question in this middle portion is probably the densest question in an interview, but we've talked a lot about your experiences with music, the actions, the reactions, its presence. But when it's just you and the music one-on-one, what does it give back to you?
Man. It's medicine, you know. It's a cure, like, not to be like corny and shit, but like, it's really like sometimes I'll go a few days and I'll be like, man, why am I in such a terrible mood? And it's because I haven't like made anything or whatever. It's an outlet, you know what I mean? Like it's like people go to the gym, or like people like are in bowling leagues. This is my bowling league. Like
I always call it my sand garden.
There you go. Yeah, it's your sand garden. You know what I mean? And I have my rake, and I have like
rocks and a tree.
I got a couple rocks. I got a couple trees. You know what I mean? Like, and I know my trees. I know my rocks. You know, I know that what rocks don't look good in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Through trial and error, and it's just it's my outlet, and it's something I need. Like, it's not something like I can just kind of.
Yeah.
You know,
it has to be there in some way.
Yeah. It's not, you know, it just has to. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Of course. Yeah.
Now let's go ahead and let's move on to some hypothetical questions.
Okay.
And for these, sky's the limits. The questions are all made up, so the answers are allowed to be as well.
Let's hear it.
And for this first one, pretty straightforward. But if you could work with any one person, the only requirement is they have to be alive.
Oh, okay.
Who would you want to work with, and how would you want to work with them?
Who would I want to work with, and how would I want to work with them? Man. I think right now, I think Quinta Brunson, like, and I think I would want to be on Abbott Elementary. Like, she's just so hot right now. Like, and I mean that in the way of like she's on a streak.
Yeah. Her career.
Yeah, her career. And she's just like stuff she was doing on Black Lady Sketch Show. Like, well, all of them, but like she's just so funny, and like she's like clearly musically inclined, like the way she goes about things and stuff like that. She's got a rhythm to her comedy. And she's done it on like sitcom television, like ABC.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that would be really fun. Like, I think that's the person that comes to mind immediately. I just saw Abbott Elementary, and they just had a really good cameo. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but I think Quinta Brunson right now. I think she's tapped in. I think that's the phrase I'm looking for.
I dig that. And then subsequently, who's a local artist that you're aware of that you haven't gotten to connect with yet, but you would like to?
I would probably say, like, we host shows as well, and we've had people. I really want to make a track for Alana Rich, because I love making.
Oh yeah,
I love making pop music, and we've had her, and she's fantastic. She's also just a very nice person. But I just love making just her type of music.
Yeah. No, that would be a good fit.
Yeah. So yeah, probably her. There's
everybody
a bunch more.
Add her in the comments. Let's make that happen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm like in the midst of trying to book her for another show. So
perfect. Well, there you go. Everybody definitely add her. No.
Just keep annoying the shit out of Alana. But yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's a great answer.
Thank you.
And then for this next one, like I said before, sky's the limits, and that's pretty literal in this sense. But if you could perform anywhere in the world, and you wouldn't have to worry about crowd access or building stability or power, guaranteed best lineup, guaranteed best show, and it doesn't have to be a venue. It can be anywhere. Where would you want to perform?
Like, could I guarantee that like the crowd?
Yeah, like I said,
the crowd is gonna.
Logistics are all gonna work out wherever you pick.
Well, I need to know like this is a sold out crowd or
Sure.
like okay.
Again, guaranteed best ever. Like whatever you want to paint it as, it can be.
Probably my first house in Florida. Outside of my first house in Florida, because the landlord kicked us out on some bullshit. So no. I would have a huge concert, have a logistical nightmare for her. I would put her in charge of like taking care of parking. So yeah,
she's the one valet.
Yeah, exactly. So somewhere on Albanga Road and Palm Bay Road. I won't say the address, but yeah. You let people go look at houses later down in life.
Hell yeah, I dig that. That's a very unique answer compared to some. I could dig that for sure.
And it would just be a cool concert. It's like a block party.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that'd be good for sure. All right, and then to wrap up the hypothetical questions.
Yeah.
If you could get one more album from anybody, they could be alive, they could be dead, they could have not put out an album in 100 years, they could have put out an album yesterday.
Yeah.
Who would you want an album from?
Man, that's a good question. I don't know.
A recent answer I've been running to is Skilo.
Skilo's
got robbed with his second album.
Man. And you said, wait, like
it could be anybody.
Anybody.
Yeah, anybody.
This is tough. I think I would go because like most of the people that I love have given me a huge discography. Mm-hmm. I would probably try to give something that I know I could give like the rest of the world. Like probably like somebody like Otis Redding.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, like
hell yeah.
Like somebody was just cut down way before, you know what I mean?
I'd take a Bobby Caldwell album.
Bobby Caldwell.
I know he had a career.
He had a career, but like
damn,
another
Bobby Caldwell album would be
gas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, gas.
And it would hit. It always hit.
It always hits.
Yeah.
It always hits. Yeah, nah. Oh man. That's a good question though. Yeah, I'd probably go Otis.
Hell yeah. That's a solid choice.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start wrapping this up.
Sure.
What can we look forward to between now and September?
An album.
Hell yeah. Do you know roughly when?
No.
Okay. It's in the works, but the goal is this year.
It's almost done. It's just a pain in the ass.
Ooh, are you feeling maybe an autumn release?
Don't tempt me. No, hopefully by the summer. Yeah, that more through the laundry room shows at Spin Laundry Lounge every first Sunday.
Hell yeah.
Our music festival, family dinner, and just more music all around. More music from our Southern Ocean team, Darian, Randy, Darian Winters, and then Randy, just Randy. R ampersand Y, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And then our short film from our videographer Kyle. Everyone's Tired. That should be out by September, hopefully. And a bunch more stuff and lighters.
Oh hey. Speaking of which, I'll make sure it's in focus.
Yeah, right.
One way or another, it's going to be probably here.
There it is. Fire. Literally.
All right, hell yeah. Definitely y'all are going to pick one of those up for sure. For sure. And then for this next one, go ahead and look straight at the camera and tell everybody how they can find you.
I stay in the Lloyd Center area. Yeah, Instagram, Israel Autumns, Spotify, Israel Autumns. If you're on X, I'm not really on there anymore. And I think that's about it. I think that's all the social medias. TikTok, I'm not really on. I got to get better about. And southernocean.productions. That's the website.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else you want to put on while you're on here?
My mom.
Hell yeah.
And again, shout out to Quinta Brunson. She's killing it. And yeah, all my friends, all the Southern Ocean team. And yeah, I think that's it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you definitely shout out a bunch of people throughout, so I'm sure the love is there all the way around.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah. All right, now we've got one last question to go.
Okay.
But before we do, I'm going to steal the camera for just a second.
Yeah.
As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And one more shout out to The Brothers Apothecary. Make sure to click the link below and go check them out. Guarantee you're going to like it. And with that being said, the final question. And this is entirely up to your interpretation.
Okay.
But what is an album you feel is more on the obscure side? So it's like a deep cut, not a lot of people know it, but it's one you think everybody should know.
Ooh. Man, I'm really bad at these. Let me think.
Have
you heard of Dark Side of the Moon?
Yeah. Once or twice. Yeah.
Okay.
But like, I always recommend like think something that's like you grew up listening to a bunch that like never blew up the way it should have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like that's an easy way to pull out.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a good way to looking at it. Okay, I'm like going through my parents' CD collection. You know what? I'll do it. The whole Walk Hard soundtrack is fantastic. Walk Hard is the 07 release from John C. Reilly and the crew.
Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah, that whole thing. First of all, the movie was overlooked. And then the actual soundtrack, there's, watch the movie so it makes sense. But like there are beautiful songs on
that's amazing.
Album that no one will like listen to for real. Yeah. Because whatever. But they're gorgeous.
I mean, yeah, I'm definitely gonna sit down with that now because I never considered that. Damn, that's a really good suggestion.
Go listen to Oh My Darling. Go listen to Beautiful Ride. Go listen to Guilty as Charged. These are actually really good songs that John C. Reilly just made. Yeah, for them, like they're fantastic. But yeah, I would probably say the Walk Hard soundtrack.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, thank you.
Also, I rarely get to sneak one in, but I'm gonna sneak one in.
Yeah, please.
And I'm gonna stay in the same theme. Soundtrack to Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Okay.
Banger.
Yeah?
Banger.
I'm gonna have to peep.
Yeah, definitely. It's George Clooney and some other people. I'm terrible with names.
No, it's all good.
But yeah, it's a real fun movie, real good soundtrack.
Amazing.
Hell yeah. All right, but we're gonna go ahead and get up on out of here. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate it. Yeah.
And this has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's JamBox. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Israel Adams.
And we're signing off. Later, y'all.
That's a wrap. This is not a podcast. This is a show. Keep jamming.